I rise in opposition to H.R. 5332, and I want to thank the gentleman from New Jersey for his work on this bill. I'm disappointed we're not able to come to a bipartisan compromise. We worked for the better part of a year to try to achieve a good product that could broadly be supported, and this product does not represent that work, sadly. Unfortunately, we didn't get there. And I believe that we are considering today a bill that is just another attempt for House Democrats to socialize the credit reporting and scoring industry. We're voting on a bill that will decrease competition, increase fraud, prop up the trial bar, and expand the authority of an already unaccountable CFPB, Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. First, this bill directs the 3 nationwide credit reporting agencies to create a shared online portal. This portal will allow unlimited and free consumer access to credit information. This is good. Credit freezes. This is good, and allows consumers to initiate disputes. Well, that all sounds very good. In fact, Republicans support a one-stop shop for consumers to access important credit information. But we're talking about the 3 largest players in the industry. And this bill codifies their place, their oligopoly structure, their favored view of the current marketplace, and enshrines them further into law with this outsized authority. This bill condones their market structure by mandating that many of their services be merged into a single web portal. This doesn't make things better, it makes it worse. If Congress really wants to protect consumers, we should be working to promote more competition in the credit reporting and scoring industry. We should be promoting new ways to eliminate barriers to entry, not promoting what really comes down to less consumer choice. Second, this bill requires the complete Social Security numbers be used to confirm a consumer's identity. So here's the problem. The bill fails to set appropriate standards to protect that information. Specifically, the bill directs the credit reporting agencies to match all 9 digits of a consumer's Social Security number before including any information in consumer credit reports. Well, that sounds well, fine, and good, but we know hacks happen. Just look as federal employees. We've had our information hacked and stolen. Look at the credit reporting agencies. They've had their information hacked and stolen. This is why we wanted to come to a bipartisan compromise. There is something legitimate we should be doing. But today, not all data furnishers collect full Social Security numbers for submission for consumer credit information to the credit bureaus. That means that this bill has a requirement now that they collect all the Social Security information to confirm the consumer's identity. This will potentially have 2 negative consequences for consumers. First, data that is not already linked to that Social Security number will be excluded from credit bureaus. That means, under this bill, accurate information will be removed for no other reason than it's missing the Social Security number. This will actually decrease the predictive power of credit files. That's a negative for consumers. And that, in turn, will jeopardize the ability the ability to get low-cost credit for consumers, especially for those who are on the margin, where much of their information is derived by being a consumer and paying back regular consumer debt. Second, data furnishers will start aggressively capturing and storing Social Security numbers for consumers just so the data can be used in the credit models. That means that our Social Security number will be in more places, and identity theft can then increase with more opportunities to steal our information. It means that consumers will be further at peril for fraudulent activities by bad and malicious actors. So committee Republicans have consistently expressed concern with the private sector and government's use of Social Security numbers for identity verification. I think we should all agree on that. This bill will only exacerbate the problem by statutorily directing an increase in reliance on this personal information, very highly personal information. Next, this bill creates an additional opportunity for trial lawyers to exploit the litigation system, ultimately raising the cost of credit for all consumers. The bill expands a private right of action under the Fair Credit Reporting Act to allow for injunctive relief. It further provides plaintiffs with compensation for attorney's fees and more litigation means increased cost associated with credit reporting. Additionally, this bill allows consumers to continuously dispute information, even if the account is verified as accurate, promoting an endless cycle of frivolous reinvestigations and decreasing the effectiveness of credit reporting. Lastly, this bill continues the Democrats' goal of expanding the statutory authority of the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, or the CFPB. The bill creates a duplicative ombudsman in the CFPB for credit reporting, something that they currently have, but the person has more than just consumer credit reporting responsibilities. Since its creation, congressional Republicans have fought to place the unaccountable government agency, this unaccountable government agency, under the annual appropriations process and have argued that the single director structure is unconstitutional. That's being litigated and will be decided by the Supreme Court this summer. While the current CFPB director is working to increase accountability and transparency at the agency, we don't know what the next director will do, if he or she will abuse his or her power. We should fix the CFPB before we expand their authorities. So I also want to take issue with a larger set of issues here. The Democrats' decision to report out a closed rule means that you can't even have the ultimate goal of a bipartisan bill that can then get action in the Senate and then potentially get a signature by the president. This, too, is a sad sign of the state of affairs and what seems to be a highly broken legislative process that we're in the midst of. It further demonstrates my point that my colleagues, in particular on the other side of the aisle, have no interest in working with Republicans to craft a bill that will protect consumers' personal information. I submitted many amendments to the Rules Committee that provide for targeted solutions, eliminating this reliance on Social Security numbers, removing paid non-elective medical debt from credit reports, which this bill fails to do, allowing parents to electronically freeze their minors' credit reports, which this bill fails to do, requiring sources for public record data in credit reports, which would then expand credit files so that those who are on the margins for creditworthiness would have enhanced credit potentially. Prohibit the inclusion of adverse information related to predatory mortgage lending, financial abuse, or fraud associated with private student loans in credit reports. This bill does not act. And directing the GAO to study and report to Congress on the use of non-traditional data in credit scoring. This is something that has bipartisan support in our committee and has been reported out in other measures, but not in this one. And so those are sensible measures that could have been included if we had an open amendment process. But then again, we're wearing masks, we're conducting business in this odd way where members can vote for other members that are not here on the House floor, and we have to go through this whole long process. So I understand they have a need to rush, right? But this is an ill-conceived bill that will have a negative impact on every American, if this is signed into law. So I think we need better consideration and a better product that could actually achieve a bipartisan outcome. So let's vote no on this, and let's get on with the real work of the American people. Yield back.